I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. I feel so sad to say goodbye to many of my favorite mangas and manhwas this month because some of them are ending and some of them are on season break. As for the case of My Suha, we have one more chapter before the season finale, and then we have to wait until April for the new chapters to come out. But yeah, like next week, that's gonna be the um, finale chapter for this season. So we have to wait 3 months before our 2 months before our next update. Before we get started though, I just want to remind our viewers that if you like seeing more yaoi content and would like to support this channel, please don't forget to smash that like button. Also, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Feel free to message me in my Twitter or Instagram at ZEALED FUJOSHI, which I'll be using to interact with viewers about more yaoi content. If that's something that interests you, feel free to follow me at ZEALED FUJOSHI. Finally, this video will contain explicit content and a lot of manhwa spoilers. With that in mind, please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Now, without further ado, let's jump into chapter 71 of My Suha. I feel like this is the first time I'm seeing Suha falling in love with Jiwoon for the very first time. I mean, we know that he has some sorts of feelings for Jiwoon before, but this kind of feels different because these are like mutual romantic feelings, and you know, that's just what we needed in this series. Like, let's start the subfest because I truly feel that Suha finally loves Jiwoon now. Even if he hasn't said the exact words that he loves Jiwoon, he, the way he's acting in this whole chapter, the body language, it speaks louder than words, right? He even told Jiwoon that he missed him, and right now he's asking Jiwoon for some affection because Jiwoon was scared to do anything. He also tells him that he's never breaking up with him. And when Jiwoon hears him say, like he's gonna talk to Doyuk, asshole, and warn him to never hurt Jiwoon again, it's like something that someone who's in love would do for the person that they love, right? And Jiwoon looks so vulnerable and definitely shows how young he is right now because Suha just wants to take care of Jiwoon, and Jiwoon still wants to take care of Suha, but it's definitely showing that Suha is the senior in this couple and Jiwoon is still very young. You'll see his insecurities, and there's no doubt about Jiwoon being insecure because it's a stem from all of the suffering and lack of love and affection that he never received from the Park family. And I still feel like the author hasn't explained enough to make any sense on what the hell's going on with this series. There's a lot of backstories that we still don't know. However, Suha is not as much better as he thinks about love and sex. And Jiwon has finally been the man that shows him otherwise, especially when, even under the influence, he told Suha to stay with Jiwon, And I think that's why Suha is finally starting to change and showing that Suha wants to be with Jiwon finally. And I love the fact that, the author was able to recognize that, I don't want to say rape, but because rape is a very strong word, and I think it was just still consensual. It's a little bit rough, but I think they both agree to it. So I don't want to say a strong word like rape, but the author was able to recognize that, they were really in the borderline of comfortable and not comfortable. And I love the way the author tackles that issue, right? I know that the fan base is very divided on this, like whether Jiwon was too forceful or Jiwon, like Suha did acknowledge that it's okay. And I personally think that it's very blurry because they're not in the same page in the whole thing. But I'm not gonna say that it's like rape, right? But like I said, like, it's so good that this manhwa was able to acknowledge the fact that Jiwon understands that it was borderline. So he was a perfect gentleman, and he just apologized for his action. There was no pride, no ego. He knows that it was dangerously in the borderline that Suha was uncomfortable. But I'm not saying that it's entirely Jiwon's fault, It's sad because, when Jiwon said, "Please don't leave me young," I felt like he was feeling that way because, he cares so much for Suha and wants him to be a big part of his life. And if Suha left him, he is gonna be deeply devastated. And that mentality on that there was no essence, that he just wanted to be cruel to Suha. There's no cruelty in Jiwon's mindset. In his mind, all he can think about is, he really cares for his Young, and he doesn't want his Young to even feel a little bit uncomfortable. So he was a total gentleman and just apologized deeply to Suha. And it's really sincere when he says, "Don't leave me young." But I swear, if it was a breakup, like if one of them said like, "Let's break up," I would have thrown my phone out of the window. So thank you for saying, "Please don't leave me." Suha won't leave you, Jiwon, so stop crying. You're gonna make me cry as well. And it's so tragic to see two people who deserve each other so much be in pain. So hopefully we will see a great change in their relationship after this break. Most of the time what we see is Jiwon taking care of Suha or being the more capable one, that we often forget that Jiwon is younger than Suha. This chapter just shows how vulnerable Jiwon actually is. And you know, man, I just want Doyuk to suffer. But man, don't you feel like this chapter is shorter than usual? I know that we're almost near the end, but this cliffhanger and the misunderstanding, I just want to skip my life and start with next week so that I can see what's going on. But yeah, it feels really short, but it's so freaking good. And I'm so sad that chapter 72 is the finale of the season. Man, April. What am I gonna do without director Park until April? Oh well. But I also understand that the author deserves a break. I really never thought that I would love this story so much. It had only some chapters in the beginning and I wasn't a big fan of it, but now I'm completely in love with the characters and I can't stop giving praises to how beautiful of a couple Suha and Jiwon is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to follow my social media to be teased about some of the boys' love that I'm interested in. Feel free to leave a message and converse with me. I'd love to hear back from you. Also, don't forget to support the author. All the manhwa details can be found in the description below. Again, thank you so much and I hope to see you next time.